Two of the most popular snakes in the world, but what one is better for you? The calm, shy, compact ball python, or the bold, intelligent, curious boa constrictor? If you are trying to decide what snake to bring home, if this is your first or even second pet snake, this is the video you're gonna need to watch before making a 30-year mistake. Let's break it down. We're gonna start with the basics really quickly here. All pythons are native to Central and West Africa. Males average around 3 to 4 feet. Females are a little bit larger, maybe up to 5.5 feet. They're very compact, docile, and live 25 to 30 years with proper care. The morphs are completely endless. For instance, you have banana, pied, clown, Mojave. You name it, you've got it. Boa constrictors, on the other hand, they are from Central and South America. You've got two main types, the BCI, the boa constrictor imperator, and the BCC, boa constrictor constrictor. In this video, we're talking more or less about the BCI. Average size, 6 to 8 feet. Males typically gonna be closer to the 6 or 7. Females may get closer to the 8 or 9. They live just as long, but take up more space, eat more, and demand more. Now it's time to dive into the temperament of these animals. Think of ball pythons like introverts. They're shy, they hide, they ball up when they're stressed, which is actually how they got their name. They're not the most interactive snake, but they're a great first step into the reptile and snake world. Boas, on the other hand, are total opposite. Once they trust you, they are extremely curious, they explore, they watch what's happening around them 24/7. They're a little bit slower moving, but they're far more aware. They're chill with you chilling on the couch, or they'll climb up your face, and if you're not watching, they could very well be scaling your window. Both of them, temperament-wise, are wonderful for snake owners. If you're looking for more shy, more calm, ball python is the winner. If you're looking for more curious and hands-on, well, clearly the boa constrictor is the winner. Here's where things really start to separate a little bit further. Ball pythons can thrive in a 4x2x2 with proper hides, clutter, humidity around 60 to 70%. Their heat needs to be around 88 to 92 for the hot side. Cool side, you're looking at 78, 82. These are very easy to manage in PVC or even grow tent setups. Small space, low impact. Boas, on the other hand, are gonna need something obviously bigger because they get bigger. Big females may require a 7x2x2, 7x3x3, but on average, a 6x3x3 will be perfect for an adult BCI. They also need higher humidity, around 65 to 75%. Hot spot, 86 to 90. Younger boas love climbing, so vertical space actually matters early on to build that enrichment in their muscles. These snakes can outgrow your setup extremely fast if you're not planning ahead. PVC enclosures is recommended, but that can get very pricey. This is where grow tents come in clutch. You can keep them in a grow tent from baby until adult because the costs are much lower for the grow tents. Here's where we're gonna separate just a little bit further. Feeding is one of the biggest differences. Ball pythons are infamous for being picky. Stress, seasonal fasting, or just a bad day. And it really all boils down to stress and seasonal fasting. They'll say no to food like it's a protest. They eat smaller meals. They're eating every 10 to 14 as juveniles, and they can definitely survive long gaps without issue. Boas, on the other hand, they eat like absolute tanks. They will rarely ever say no. Bigger prey, bigger poop, bigger feeding response. Hook training is almost a must with a boa constrictor, and you feeding with feeding tongs better be on point, because what they'll do is they'll strike first, ask questions later. Just how they are. They will rarely ever refuse food. If they do refuse food, that's an extremely giant red flag. We're gonna talk a little bit about money real quickly here because not a lot of people do, so I like to always go into everything for you. Ball python setup is gonna be budget friendly. Basic enclosures, smaller rats, minimum upgrades. You might spend $300 on an enclosure and habitat setup to get started. Boas, on the other hand, they do grow a lot faster, so the costs are gonna be a lot more throughout their life. Bigger cages, more powerful heating, higher monthly bills, larger meals. Expect $500 to $800 setup costs for something proper. This is where if you go with the grow tent option, you can cut that in half. And if you get a high-end morph, the price tag climbs fast. You're gonna be adding the snake into the initial costs. Ball python, $300 for the setup. Ball pythons can go anywhere from $150 to tens of thousands of dollars. Boa constrictors, it's gonna be closer to, $300 to $500 initially for a baby. You're gonna be spending more money quicker with a BCI. So I mean, if we're going with the first year, initial costs could be $800, $900 for the enclosures. And then boa constrictors can go from anywhere from $350 to $10,000. So you got to factor all those in. Now we're going to bring it a little bit closer in together in terms of handling and maintenance. Ball pythons do require less handling to stay social, but they also don't need it as much. You can kind of leave them be. and they're totally content. But I don't recommend that. I definitely recommend holding your snake once they're of age or more comfortable. I definitely recommend holding them at least 3 to 5 times a week. Once they get to a certain spot, they can definitely be held daily. I'm all about socializing my snakes. If you've ever seen a TikTok live, you would know why I am all about this. My snakes can be out for hours on end, and they are the most chill, whether it's a boa constrictor or a ball python. Boas, on the other hand, benefit from handling. They bond more, they're smarter, and they can actually recognize you with time based off of scent. But they are a lot stronger. You're not manhandling a boa. You're working with it and you're staying calm and working with the boa. Once they feel that resistance or being squeezed too tightly, then they can get on defensive mode. So honestly, when it all breaks down, what is really the best snake for you? You're gonna wanna choose a ball python if you are new to snakes. You live in an apartment, smaller space. You want a low-key pet that hides, chills, you can handle it when you want. If you have children and they want to be interactive with the snake, a ball python is definitely a good first pet snake for a family. You're going to choose a boa constrictor if you want something more engaging and more intelligent. You've got space, time, and patience, and this is huge. The word patience couldn't be any more perfect for this situation. You're ready to level up in responsibility, meaning if you already have a first snake like a ball python, and you're ready for something a little bit bigger, a little bit more active, more hands-on, then a boa constrictor is absolutely perfect for that. So at the end of the day, there really is no wrong choice. It's really a wrong choice for you, the viewer, or the person wanting to handle and keep these snakes. A chill ball python might be perfect for someone who wants something easy, cute, and a little bit lower maintenance. A boa might be the dream snake for someone who's ready to build trust and a real companion that lasts 25 to 30 years. Whichever snake you do choose, you need to respect it, you need to learn its body language, and you need to be building that bond over time and consistent. Because at the end of the day, that's really what snake building and snake keeping is all about. If you're ready for more beginner-friendly guides, morph rankings, best beginner morphs, breeding projects, funny ass skits, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, drop a comment down below if this helped you out, or if you have any advice for somebody searching, looking for a new pet snake. Tell me which one you would prefer and why, and until next time.